All right, something interesting in Genesis 16. This is where Hagar is given to Abram. Now we have to understand. Well, let me just read it first. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. And my maid, it may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had 10 years in the land of Canaan. So 10 years, no children. And gave her to her husband, Abram, to be his wife. So Hagar became Abram's wife. Now, some people are like, oh man, I don't understand this. Abram has faith, but yet he took another wife. What he did was not illegal. It's not against any of the commandments that God had made, because there was none yet. And when Jesus said, basically, at the very beginning, that it was designed for one man and one wife, that doesn't mean that guys weren't having more than one wife. And in fact, in Leviticus, it talks about that. If a guy wants another wife, you can do it, which is interesting, right? It's interesting. It's illegal in Canada, and I don't encourage anyone to do that. And I can only imagine what the wives think about this stuff in North America. Only a guy would come up with something like that to have more than one wife. But yeah, no, it's a lot of people are like, I don't understand. Abram has faith, but yet we have to understand he was here for 10 years as well. And Sarai was struggling with this. She was like, look, I just want to hold a child. I just want to have a baby. And maybe this is the best way. So then Abram listened to her. So then he went into Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee. So Sarai realized she made a mistake and is blaming Abram. Said, I've given my maid unto thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes, and the Lord judged between me and thee. Just an expression of really anger and guilt and all this kind of stuff. But Abram said unto Sarah, Behold, thy maid is in thine hand. Do to her as it pleases thee. When Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. So Hagar had enough and left. An angel of the Lord found her, which is interesting. Angel of the Lord, I think this is the Holy Spirit, found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to Shur, which again is interesting. I think Hagar was a survivor. First mission, find water. And he said, Hagar, Sarah's maid, whence camest thou, and whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Return to thy mistress and submit thyself under her hands. Let them take care of you. Okay, stay there. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, and it shall not be numbered for multitude. So basically the same blessing as what Abraham has had so far. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction, and he will be a wild man. Nobody's going to be able to tame this guy. His hand will be against every man, and every man against every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. He's going to be around. He's going to be around this area. She called the name of the Lord that spake unto her, Thou, God, seest me, for she For she said, I have also here looked after him that seeth me. Wherefore the well was called Bershai Roi, which, behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. So it's interesting that Ishmael is going to be blessed as well and have princes and all kinds of stuff, and he's going to dwell in the presence of all his brothers. Like, we think he's totally out of the pictures, but he's not. So that's fascinating. And in fact, Ishmael and Isaac both buried their father Abraham together. They had a funeral together. Isn't that interesting? Anyways, hope you got something out of this. Oh yeah, we got to go here, right here. And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years old. So 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. Interesting, right? Again, Ishmael is to dwell in the presence of all his brethren. We see this today, even. And later in the Bible when some of the brothers end up selling Joseph to the Ishmaelites. We'll talk about that in another video. Anyways, as always, feel free to subscribe. If you got something out of this, leave a comment. Thanks a lot. Bye.